let's try to understand the data entry screen. The diagnosis code field could be anything you want. It could be an internal coding, it could be the ICD-10, or sometimes it is the ICD-9 code with an additional character added to it. Each one of those fields has a very important role. The ICD-9 field is helpful if you are sending a claim to an insurance company that doesn't take an ICD-10, so you can send the ICD-9, or also could be helping when you are searching for an ICD-10 by knowing your old ICD-9. So that's the reason it's important to have an ICD-9 field. If I want to add my own ICD-10 manually, because I only have a few to add, and I found out that maybe it's not worth it for me to buy codes on disk or Encoder Pro to help me with adding codes, and you have a few codes you want to add by hand. So this is how you do it. You go to list, you go to your diagnosis list, and now when you hit new, over here it could be anything you want. It could be your internal system coding for that diagnosis, or it could be the same code as the what it is in ICD-10. So if I'm going to use the same code as I'm doing ICD-10, I'm doing S52.509A. Or I can enter my own internal coding code. For practicing purpose, I'm just going to enter my own. So let's say I'm going to abbreviate fracture, and I'm going to call it fracture 509A. Okay, this is just my own internal coding. Now I'm going to enter the description here, and the easiest way to carry this over, instead of retyping this again, I'm doing copy and copy. And over here, I'm putting this to be my ICD-9, which is, I looked it up and it was 813.42. And over here, I'm putting my ICD-10, which is my S52.509A. Now, the reason this here is if you ever want to look up what is the new alternative of this code. I'm going to show you in a second in searching. So when I hit save now, so this code was entered. So whenever you're looking up codes, if I say, all right, I'm looking for an ICD-10, but I want to search for it by ICD-9. So if I'm searching now for 813.42, this is, by the way, this is what I just entered now. And this is what Lytec mapped, which is you're about to learn how this was mapped. In this session, we're going to learn how to add codes using Encoder Pro and how to map the codes. So we have, I'm starting with a practice that doesn't have a lot of diagnosis, so I'm not confusing you. So I'm going to start with an 813.42, which is close fracture. Now, if you go to your tools and you map this here, so this is a one-to-one mapping according to Lytec because it uses the gem code. And if I created this, is now mapped. So now if I go to the transaction and I use this code, I'm going to see that this code was mapped to an S52.09A. If I look at that code, so this is how Lytec mapped it. But now, as you probably know already, that this code has a lot more choices. If I go to 813.42 and I look at my choices of ICD-10, I see so many different. So how am I going to add this? So you're going to click on this and hit map and OK. And that just adds another code for you. Then I'm going to go again to Encoder Pro and 10 and click on that and hit map and OK. And now what I just did is I added this code here, which is what it did. It add one of the ICD-10. So now if I keep repeating the process, so let me start with the, I know it's kind of confusing. It takes a while to understand this. So if I hit this, and now I'm going to go here and hit map and hit OK, hit Encoder Pro 10, and I wind up, here and hit map. So every time you do that, it adds another code for you. So you keep repeating that until you finish your code. So I know this is a lot of work, okay, especially for code like this. Now let me show you, if you own codes on disk, what would happen. So if you own codes on disk, you would go into tools, you go to import, and let's say I want to do my diagnosis code. Then you're going to find where you put your code. So I know I have it here on my desktop. Let's see. And I want to codes file. I want to do all my ICD-10 codes. And it's importing all my ICD-10 codes. So this is going to give me every possible thing that I have in the book. If you're the kind of person that needs lots of codes, so codes on disk is a good investment. Encoder Pro has its own benefit, and I'm going to show you how to backward map using the Encoder Pro. But if I use my codes on disk, I will see my diagnosis list here. So if I want to see all my 10, this is all my 10 that I just entered using the codes on disk. If I want to map one of those codes, I can just type it if I know what is the backward uh, mapping here, or I can use my Encoder Pro to let me know what's my backward mapping. Thank you for watching.